They built their wealth in silence, not because they were smarter, not because they worked harder, but because they understood something about the human mind that the rest of the world was never taught. The 1% do not operate by different rules. They operate by different psychology, a psychology so precise, so deliberately kept from general circulation, that most people spend their entire lives being moved by it without knowing it exists. You have felt it before. The conversation that left you agreeing to something you did not plan to agree to. The room where one person said very little and somehow controlled everything. The negotiation where you walked out, wondering what just happened. That was not luck. That was not charisma. That was dark psychology, applied with surgical precision. 5 tricks, used by the most powerful minds in history, studied by Machiavelli, mapped by Jung, refined by the 1%. By the end of this video, you will never enter a room the same way again. Trick 1. The illusion of choice. The most powerful form of control is the kind the other person administers to themselves. When you give someone a choice, any choice, their mind shifts from resistance to selection. They are no longer asking, "Should I do this?" They are asking, "Which version of this do I prefer?" The resistance dissolves, the compliance begins, and they believe every step of it was their decision. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." The 1% do not drag people toward outcomes. They design the options. Would you prefer Tuesday or Wednesday? The standard package or the premium? This approach or that one? In every case, both doors lead to the same room. The other person chose their door. You built the hallway. When was the last time someone gave you a choice that was never really a choice at all? Trick 2. Strategic silence. Most people are afraid of silence. They fill it immediately, with explanation, with justification, with the nervous sound of a person who does not trust that their position can hold itself. The 1% do something different. They let the silence land. They ask a question and wait. They make an offer and say nothing more. They deliver a verdict and let it sit. Because silence does something to the human nervous system that no amount of argument can replicate. It creates pressure, and the person across the table, conditioned since childhood to fill empty space, will fill it with concessions, with confessions, with the truth they were trying to avoid giving you. Jung wrote, "Silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation." The powerful man does not argue. He speaks once clearly, and then allows the weight of his words to do what no second sentence could. Say what you need to say, then close your mouth, and watch them hand you everything. Trick 3. The mirror principle. People do not fall in love with you. They fall in love with the version of themselves they see reflected when they are around you. This is not sentiment, this is architecture. Jung spent 40 years mapping the shadow, the parts of a person they cannot face directly. The man who makes you feel seen is not revealing himself. He is reflecting you. He is showing you the best version of yourself with such precision that you associate that feeling with his presence. And once you have felt that once, you will return to the source of it. The 1% do not build followers, they build mirrors. Who in your life makes you feel most like yourself? Now ask the harder question. How much of that feeling is actually coming from you? Trick 4. Controlled scarcity. What is abundant has no value. What is rare commands. This is not economics. This is the deepest wiring of the human brain. The person who is always available trains the world to take them for granted. The person who is selectively present trains the world to compete for access. Machiavelli understood this in political power. It is better to be feared than loved. But the wise prince avoids being hated. Your time, your attention, your approval, these are currencies. The man who spends them freely discovers that everyone around him has stopped treating them as valuable. What have you made too available? Trick 5. The anchor. Every room has a center of gravity. It is not always the loudest person. It is always the person who set the first number, named the first frame, established the first standard. And everything that follows, every counter, every compromise, every concession, orbits the anchor, even if no one remembers where it was set. Machiavelli wrote, "The first standard you set tells everyone what kind of man you are. Set it low, and they will never stop treating you accordingly. Set it high, and the room must rise to meet you or leave." The 1% always anchor first. Not to win the first exchange. To own the center of gravity, the architecture of power. These are not tricks. That word was chosen to get your attention. What these are is architecture. A systematic understanding of how human beings actually make decisions, as opposed to how they believe they make them. The 1% are not more ruthless than you. They are more educated about the invisible mechanics of human behavior. Jung wrote, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." You just looked inside 5 mechanisms that have been operating on you your entire life. Comment below, "I see the architecture, not for me," as a contract with the version of you that just woke up. And before this video ends, subscribe to this channel now, because what is coming next will go deeper into the psychology they were never supposed to show you. The next video will change the way you understand your own mind. Subscribe, and do not miss it.